Hello and welcome to Age of Empires 2, where we're going to be playing the historical Battle of York, which, despite the name, is really a battle for the whole of the British Isles. For me at least, and I think for a lot of other people, one of the most fun campaign scenarios. You play as the Vikings, and you take over and raid the British Isles. Pretty much any area of the British Isles you please. You don't have to focus on York at all. You can ignore the actual city of York altogether. It's really a bit of a sandbox scenario. It's a huge map. You have a lot of space to expand and to attack. And we're going to try to play it slightly differently to the conventional approach. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Shouts of assent ring around the hall as the sons of Ragnar finish speaking, and ravens fly upwards, eager to bring good tidings to the Aesir. Moments later, the sky flashes with lightning and booms with thunder, signaling the approval of the gods. Days later, the mustering begins. Kings, jarls, warriors, and common folk alike gather, eager to seek vengeance on the Northumbrian King Aila for the dishonorable slaying of Ragnar. Ivar, one of Ragnar's sons, has sworn to carve the blood eagle on Aila in retribution. It is a sight to behold. Hundreds of longships bear crews of valiant Norsemen and enough supplies to last the army months. The Valkyries look on, for they will soon swell Odin's hall with brave warriors who fall in the coming battles. Ragnar's sons approach a small band of warriors with a dangerous but important quest: to scout the British Isles and establish a camp. When the army arrives, it will need a secure base from which to strike out against the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms that dominate the British mainland. Thor is pleased, for the seas are benign and the winds favorable, allowing the longships a serene passage across the North Sea. As they near York, the seat of Northumbria, the sound of the sea mingles with the grinding of axes. Skalds eagerly prepare to craft the verses for a saga that will be passed down until the end of time.
There lies our target, the fortified city of York. We must find a safe location to land and wait for the rest of our mighty brethren to arrive before we seek Valhalla together.
My lord, we have scouted the British Isles. Far-seeing Odin has showed us several sites where we can strike our tents.
Let us make haste and disembark. Our presence must go unnoticed, for now.
So there are 5 sites we are directed to land on. The first is here in Scotland. The second is right towards the north of Scotland. You can kind of see from the mini-map that this is the shape of the British Isles. You can see most of the coastline, which is guarded by towers, ships, castles, things like that. But there are a couple of places you can land that are slightly different. So there's this one. I think this is possibly in Scotland, or towards the northwest of England. That one's a little bit harder to reach. There's also the Isle of Man, which is kind of one of the most encouraged landing locations, but probably the least likely landing location you will pick if you play this map is right here in the southern end of Ireland. And that's exactly the one we're going to go for, because we're going to try and play this one slightly differently to the obvious way to play it. Our voyage to that particular location is potentially a little bit fraught with danger, because we do have to try to scooch our way around East Anglia, which we can see just here has a castle. And even if we go right along the edge of the map, which is what we're seeing there, we go pretty dangerously close to it, and then there's a pretty similar thing as we sail down towards Kent. There's a castle just there. The southeastern edge of the map is right up against there too, so a little bit dangerous to try to sail through all of this. And even if we do succeed in getting around the eastern coast, we still have to sail along the south coast, which is also going to have some dangers. And there's another castle just there, which we have to look out for. And then we eventually come towards the area of Cornwall, which is still guarded and still has quite a few towers and things. Not sure how safe this is actually going to be. I've not done a test run, but presumably it is at least doable. This might not be the best way to reach it, but we're going to give it a go. For those of you who are new to the channel or to the series, there is a playlist link in the description for all other historical battles or campaign scenarios, so do go and check that out if you'd like to. Okay, so we're moving right along the edge of the map here. This is a pretty generous map in that we're not going to be attacked at any point. Our enemies are not going to build up and get stronger while we're doing this. We do have quite a bit of freedom to take our time getting to Ireland. And Ireland is not quite as dangerous in general as England in particular. Scotland is pretty easy to take over, to be honest, and I'm not really sure about Wales. I suppose it's probably fairly tough to take on. It's not too far from Wessex and Mercia, who are the two strongest opponents on the map, but Northumbria, the city of York itself, is actually really quite tough to take on. This map was originally added as part of HD Edition, and on that particular version of the game it was pretty buggy actually. It was very laggy because of the size of the map. You can kind of see we've been sailing for quite a while, and we've still only really scratched the surface. But yeah, it's a pretty large map, and used to have pretty serious frame rate issues. So far though, as you can see, it's all smooth sailing in more ways than one, and this map is a lot better built for Definitive Edition, and we also seem to be getting away without any resistance as we sail across the southern coast of England. Coming to a potential danger point now as we sail across towards Cornwall. You can see there is a keep of Wessex just there, but I think we can stay out of its range. No sign of any navy to worry about either. The navy does tend to stay pretty close to the coast, so this is working surprisingly well, and having got through there without any difficulties, I'm not too worried about the Britons, the Scots and the Welsh, the green player. They tend to be a lot weaker, tend to have galleys instead of war galleys, watchtowers instead of keeps, no castles. Should be fairly safe just to push through here, even though it is very cramped and we're having to be a little bit stealthy. We can see there's no real trouble. If we go towards the docks, it's possible we would be attacked, but we're pretty safe to land over an island. Oh, sailed a little bit too close to the docks there, but it looks like the war galley is going to leave us alone, so we don't have to take that on. 3 longships would be enough, but no need to take that on if we don't have to. And at long last, we do reach the southern coast of Ireland. This is not necessarily better or worse of a place to land, but it does encourage us to play the scenario slightly differently to the usual way of playing it, which is to land in Scotland, expand to the south, take on Northumbria. We're going to instead focus on Ireland and the south of England first. So yeah, let's move these villagers up to grab the flag location. We're going to spread our units out. So we've got a couple of Huskars, a couple of Throwing Axemen, a couple of Berserkers. Just going to scout the area, make sure it's fairly safe. We can see we have boars, we have fish on the coastline, we have gold, we have stone, we have pretty much everything we need. And right here next to these bushes, we have a pretty good location for a town centre. I think we'll drop it over here next to the trees, rather than in the middle of that space where the bushes are a little bit annoyingly distant from our town centre. And this all seems fairly safe. We don't want to expand too far because we do have the southern Irish kingdoms to worry about, who you can see are a kind of, not a particularly strong player, but they are Castle Age. Northern Irish kingdoms, only Feudal Age. Britain, Scots and Welsh, only Feudal Age. So theoretically, southern Irish kingdoms, not necessarily the easiest opponent to go up against. We do already have 15 population, so we should put down a few houses. Let's send this guy to do it too. And in fact, we definitely do want to dock. We want it as soon as possible, and we want to start going for fish as soon as possible. So we'll leave this one villager to finish off the town centre. These 2 villagers focus on houses. That will get us up to 25 population once it's all done, 25 pop limit. We'll move up just to scout this a little bit, but we'll go in defensive stance just in case.
Camp is complete. Quickly, muster a force. Soon the sails of our brothers will draw near, and we will wet our axes with Saxon blood.
So as long as we do put up our dock just here, that should be a pretty safe source of food. So even though we do have bushes, we do have boars and things like that, I think we want our town centre to focus on producing villagers. Make sure those villagers are then focused on gathering wood. And that way we can start to set up our navy as soon as possible. The 3 longships here should keep us pretty safe for a while. We'll build a few houses on our way back. Gives us a bit of extra line of sight too. And we'll just scout a little bit further. So 13 minutes and 40 seconds, the main army will arrive. That should give us enough to make a push if we want to, but also we do want to still establish ourselves in a fairly conventional way. We'll keep these long ships pretty close, but we will send our transport ships just to scout out some of this fog of war. This one likewise. Just go down to the corner and come back. Shouldn't be any enemy ships to worry about in those locations. And then we go back to this, and we should have a bit of population space now to start building fishing ships. We also have a good supply of wood. Could potentially bring this villager back actually and go for a second dock, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves just yet. Then again, one villager in this location does seem like she would be pretty helpful. Of course, if we build more towards Britain, there's a higher chance we will be attacked at some point, but this location in general is pretty safe, and as you can see, we can spread ourselves out pretty liberally without too much trouble. And this is, yeah, all pretty unclaimed, unproblematic. Villagers coming out pretty quickly. Population limit of 40, so we keep producing the fishing ships just here. And I think the wood is coming in quickly enough that we can produce out of 2 docks, so we start to build momentum pretty quickly. Once the main army arrives, we should be strong enough to potentially take on the Southern Irish Kingdoms. I'm not absolutely certain of that, but I'm pretty sure it should be fine. They are, of course, the mustered forces of all of the Viking lands coming to avenge Ragnar's death. Let's send these ships out a little bit just to scout the coast. 3 ships should be enough to take anything on, and if we have to, we can pull back. The game does tend to tell you, as you can see, does tend to tell you exactly what is threatening along the coast. Viking scouts have already checked it out, so we can see guard towers to the north. But it's not like Wessex and Mercia who have keeps and things, so it shouldn't be such a threatening opponent to go up against. And now that both of these are built, let's start pumping out some more fishing ships. And at some point, when we reach the Castle Age, we will want to start pumping out longboats too. But for now, we're keeping our resources pretty busy, and I think we can justify going for our first lumber camp. So we can go for the research, speed up our wood production, while still keeping up the fishing ship production in our 2 docks. Spread our villagers around. Yeah, we don't start with too much wood or gold. We've got just enough wood to go for another town centre once we reach the Castle Age. Around that time, we should be expecting our main force to arrive. Once we get Town Watch, these houses will hopefully give us a bit of sight. But pretty much no chance we'll be attacked from Southern Ireland. This is a completely safe zone. Okay, so double bit axe is 100 food, 50 wood. We do already have so many villagers that I think it's fine to go for that. And we can go straight for Castle Age once we build another feudal age building. So as this civ, we have a few different options, but as you can see, arbalesters are the main one if we go for archery range approach, and then if we go for infantry approach, we've got champions. The knight situation is not too great. We go up to cavalier and then we stop. Siege workshop situation is okay. We've got siege rams, and in the castle we have got berserks and elite berserks. So I think that's probably the best option for infantry, which means I think archery range makes the most sense. It is one of those feudal age buildings that we need. Just check if we have any idle villagers, which we don't. Make sure the production stays up in these 2 docks. And these fishing ships will start to move further and further out. That is a little bit of a risk, but if we have to, we can pull them back, start laying down some fishing traps, and start taking some of this food with our villagers instead. Okay, archery range is done. Let's go for a couple more houses. We are approaching the population limit at this point. In fact, need to address it pretty urgently. We're producing out of a town centre and 2 different docks. Probably justify going for an extra lumber camp too. Keep building up the fishing ships. Line up another house. So if we did have access to cavalry, we could perhaps go for... I'm a little bit reluctant to give up the Huskars because they are of course a Goth unique unit, we won't be able to produce more of those. But we could probably afford to risk a Berserk just to scout. The line of sight situation is not great. If we build a barracks, we could go for, I think it's tracking, which gives us the extra line of sight. So we should have at least one barracks, so we can get a couple more infantry upgrades. We already know that the Southern Irish Kingdoms are towards the north there. Okay, so food situation is gradually accelerating. We should be able to go for Castle Age pretty soon, around the time of the arrival of our main army. And we can pretty safely scout this out. I think we can risk just going for a wide circle. So yeah, pretty peaceful beginning, but at some point we will need to start raiding the coasts. We'll need to start raiding England. We've got really quite a lot of fishing ships here, potentially even too much. But yeah, East Anglia is the weakest kingdom. You can actually land near East Anglia. I did do a bit of a test run of that. That is an okay thing to do, but the game just doesn't give you quite as much to work with. If we see this location, for example, we can see it gives us quite a lot. Every type of resource, fish, various other things. So we still need a second feudal age building, so I guess we'll produce a couple more villagers. We'll go for a blacksmith, which we absolutely will need at some point, and we once again need to go for a couple of houses. Let's put multiple villagers on those just to make sure we don't stall ourselves for too long. Aha, okay, so we strayed too close to the castle. No way this guy survives. We'll try to move him away. He's being attacked by a castle, by watchtowers, and I'm amazed he survives that. Okay, didn't quite realize we start this close to a castle. Fortunately, on this map, like I said, it's pretty generous. It does allow you to expand pretty freely, and we can line up Castle Age, which I think is a good idea. We can go for a couple of upgrades too, so I think food production situation is looking pretty good. Let's go for Bodkin Arrow, not Bodkin Arrow. Can't remember what this one's called. Fletching. We go for fletching, and that does improve our longboats as well as our archers, and we, I think, can afford to go for a couple of archers here. I don't see any reason not to start producing units. Don't think we want too many more fishing ships than we already have. They're going to start expanding into pretty dangerous places pretty soon. I could perhaps go for a wall, but I don't think we're going to be attacked too heavily. I do hope I'm correct about that. What we do want to do is we want to line up a few villages to go for.
Hark, look to the sea. Thor and Jord favor us, for our army has arrived.
Yeah, that's a lot of longboats, and we can achieve quite a lot with that. They keep coming. Okay, so we are immediately very heavily capped, pop capped, so let's start building a few more houses, make a kind of pseudo wall out of those. And enemies could start to attack us pretty soon. Just spread these guys around. Make sure that we focus these buildings on research instead, if we can. Move our transport ships out of the way. Line up a few more techs. We do make it to the Castle Age, and we should now be able to go for a town centre. So we'll go for one just here. It'll give us access to all of that stone, all of that gold, and I need to actually use these. So I guess one thing about landing in this location is there aren't too many obvious things to do with these ships near Southern Ireland. 40 longboats, it's pretty crazy. So, the objectives to win the map. We can build a wonder on the site of the palace in York. There is no palace in York. I'm assuming that's a reference to the York Minster. 15 relics to be captured. Basically, each of these little camps will contain at least one relic, so we can grab one of those at some point. Gather 50,000 gold, which can be done the conventional way, or can be done through raiding, which is a bit more fun. And then there's also the option of defeating 5 different enemies. So if we defeat both the Southern and Northern Irish kingdoms, that will be 1. And we could try going for Wessex, Mercia. We can see that our enemies have woken up a little bit now. We try going for Wessex, Mercia, places like that. East Anglia, that should all be pretty doable. We need extra gold. Okay, so gold production becomes the main thing at this point. We've got loads of wood production, that is clearly not an issue for us. Let's bring these guys onto gold and onto stone. And pretty soon we're going to need these to... Well, we could start going for... I'm going to actually send this guy across. We could start going for fish traps, but I think we just assert ourselves on the sea now that we have all these ships, and I need to be a little bit careful because, yeah, we are going pretty close to the castles just there, so let's make sure we sneak round as safely as we can. And hopefully we don't need to pay too much attention to those. We should actually get a mining camp too. Maybe a little bit too close to the TC, but it's fine. Want to get those extra techs. Let's start going for some extra blacksmith techs too, and still pretty short on gold. Got tons of wood though. Fishing ships gather food even faster. We don't have a desperate need of that, but let's go for it. +1 PS armor for ships. Transport ships carry more units. That is going to be useful at some point. We can start producing longboats pretty soon too. But yeah, it's mainly through raiding that we're going to gather additional gold, I think. I'm not sure if there's any prospects of trading. I think we've got some shorefish blocking our expansion here. So we can see guard towers there. We can't necessarily see a castle, which is probably a good sign. We need to build ourselves a few more houses, so let's do that in this direction. Okay, so we've made it up to 135 pop limit, so we are able to start producing again. I think we can justify going for a siege workshop just here. We can see, as you can see, they are pretty generous in terms of giving us space to expand into. No one really bothers to attack us. It's one of the reasons this map is a lot of fun, because you can kind of play it how you like. There's not too much pressure. But let's start actually bringing our military units out towards the front. I had forgotten, though, exactly what to expect from... we need more stone. I had forgotten what to expect from the arrival of the army. I forgot it's just a bunch of longboats. They could probably take down the tower. But what I really want, I think, is a castle. Here we go, we've woken somebody up. I see. So, some war galleys there. They're going to go for our fishing ships. Just got to focus those down. Send our fishing fleet elsewhere. We should be okay to go for this. You can see our ships are still on their way. And we could start going for additional longboats if we want to. I think we do want the extra pierce armor for sure. Being Castle Age, we can also have a think about going for... we should go for crossbowmen. Wessex advances to the Imperial Age. That's fine, they're not going to attack us. We'll go for a couple of battering rams to help us make the push. And we're pretty close to going for our first castle too, so I'm going to send all of these villagers to go and do that. I think we should drop it. I guess this wood line will be a good spot. They're likely to attack out of there. In fact, we could even attack that first. The difference is if we... we need to spread these guys out. This is pretty ridiculous. We can see Northumbria there. Not sure if they'll send their ships to attack us. We can see we've stumbled into a Wessex war galley there. But yeah, the rest of our longships have arrived, and yeah, I guess for that reason it does make sense to... Is this safe? Yeah, this is fine. It does make sense to attack this little outpost first. I think our longships alone should be able to do that for us. As we've got ourselves a few idle villages now. Okay, castle has gone up, but no immediate threat to us. I guess we'll just gather some wood for now. And let's see what this does. So, chieftains gives us bonus attack versus cavalry, and generate gold when killing villagers. That sounds like a good thing to have. Let's go straight for that. And we can see that they are starting to send their units towards us. I think a couple of pikemen might actually make sense. We should go for that research, I think. Let's bring out a few more crossbows. Yeah, so they're just trickling a few units in, but that's fine. Should we go straight for this attack? It depends what they have to attack us with. If it's just that one tower, we can probably just overwhelm it. 2 towers. How fast does this go down? Fast enough that I think we can justify staying focused on it. I do want to take this down too. Goes straight down. And yeah, this is pretty free for us to attack. Southern Irish kingdoms do attempt to attack us from that direction too. We do lose a longship there. Am I attacking the... I'm attacking the wall. Not ideal. Second longship does go down. Still, I think this is fine to do. Want to take this guy out, of course, before he converts one of us. Another one coming. Let's go for him too. Take this down. Start bringing these units up. Let's release our battering rams on those. Keep these round as defenders. I'm attacking the gate. It's actually pretty tough to target this tower. There we go. It's fine. All of these things are replaceable. And they don't have too much else to bother us with now. So we'll allow the battering rams to take out that gate, and then we should be okay to start attacking the rest. I think we could do with... We do have enough for a second castle, but no, I'm going to go for siege workshop just here. A few crossbowmen to help support, and that should be probably enough. Make sure we break through here, and that should be most of the threats dealt with. We can afford to sail in a little bit. We take down this market, I'm pretty sure that gets us a bit more gold, and we also can go towards Imperial Age pretty soon. Gonna go for a university. I think 200 is the final pop limit. Yeah, 700 gold in tribute because we have destroyed a marketplace. And we're still pretty overpowered here. I'm guessing we're going to see a castle up here. No, actually, the Rock of Cashel. How tough are these to take down? Fortified tower, they're not actually that tough. We can take them down pretty quick. I think we do want to go to Imperial Age as soon as possible. Start getting a few more upgrades, and then we can really push. A few battering rams here would be good. A few more crossbowmen perhaps. And other things to go for. There's not really too much we desperately need. A monastery perhaps, because there are some relics to capture. I think we can go for a fairly aggressive location there. We are being attacked by Wessex. Let's go and save our ships. We could build a few more of those, but we're going to come up against the Popcat pretty soon. I think we send these battering rams for this, and we prepare the rest of our units to attack the castle in this direction. I don't necessarily mind losing a few ships here. Fire ships, far bigger threat to us than the war galleys, so let's focus on those. Let's make sure we defend our ships. Keep the food coming in. I don't necessarily feel like we need to make massive use out of these. Maybe we should go for a few farms. Clearly doing a lot better for wood than we are for food. And that probably requires us to go for a mill too. Okay, so over this way, the battering rams are attacking that, and that all seems fairly safe. We can probably afford to move towards a gate just here, but I think waiting for Imperial Age is that little bit safer. I don't think there's anything else urgent we really need to build. Still being attacked by Wessex. I see, okay. Didn't expect them to send everything at us like this. But again, we don't mind too much about losing our fishing ships. It's going to get increasingly dangerous for them to do anything, unless we go for fish traps and things like that, which is probably fine to do. We'll go for a couple. We'll make sure those replace themselves too, and let's go for dry dock for the additional, what is that? 15% extra movement, plus 10 units and transport ships. Not actually that important. I think chemistry is more important. Ballistics. Send all of these in. Let's go for conscription, elite berserk. Bring these units up. Our ballista we actually can't afford, so yeah, we do need more wood. Capped ram is affordable though. So hopefully the castles will stay very focused on taking down our rams. How are these ships doing? Looks like we've fended off that attack. Okay, I'm going to send these back and go for something a bit safer. Didn't mean to do that, but whatever, it's fine. Just in case we lose some later on. Okay, you guys definitely focus on the castle. We could go for trebuchets soon too, but we've still got most of our capped rams here, we've still got most of our forces. Just focus down this castle. Problem is, because of their presumably lack of murder holes, they might now start shooting the rest of our units. Now they do have murder holes, which is actually a good thing for us because it means they waste their shots on our battering rams. And these guys can get off. Defensive stance and start going a bit more aggressive, and we could actually go for a few monks and things. Looks like we did lose our couple of battering rams up there, so let's produce a couple more, and I think we also produce a few trebuchets. Going for an extra castle might also make sense, perhaps over here to help defend our ships against these constant attacks. Either that or we spread these out and we have to play them defensively, which is not ideal. I think, yeah, probably a castle there would make sense. Does that make sense? Thing is, they're going to attack us all along this coastline. Oh, let's make sure we kill this guy if we can. Okay, it does go down, but he's got even more. They're coming through with scorpions too. Okay, so let's send these up to take that on, and need to go for a few more upgrades soon too. We need to focus on the monk first for sure. Make sure we kill all these off. Send military units up. Go for the Arbalester upgrade. Need more gold, so a little bit of raiding would help with that. I think if we take this out, we should get ourselves a bit more gold. Ooh, a bit of extra gold up here too, that would be good to go for, especially as these guys start to become idle. Let's just go ahead and take that. And is there anything else to attack in this direction? We might get a little bit of gold for taking down mining camps. No, we don't. Okay, good to know. I see. Didn't expect them to have too many units here. Maybe now is a good time to go for another castle. A little bit of an undefended location though. That's not good. Alright, these guys should pull back. Go for a couple of farms. Resort to the peaceful life. And yeah, we're being attacked there, but we've got some berserks going up. Doesn't matter too much if we lose a little bit. One trebuchet is still alive. Let's actually bring that up. Castle will take down the knight, that's all fine. Yeah, extra gold is definitely the main thing we need, as we're starting to run out of steam over in this direction. Okay, let's bring all of these units up. So a few villagers lost there, but that's okay. The Wessex raids on our ships have potentially stopped. Let's move these guys down to complete some more farms. I'm not actually sure where these monks are. Anyway, it's pretty obvious there's a Southern Irish base to the north, and it definitely has a castle too, so I think we want to position ourselves around that. Villager is still finishing off that last castle. Let's get a treb out of here too. We could go for some elite skirmishers, since the gold situation isn't amazing. But I think with 10,000 wood, it is definitely time to start focusing some of these lumberjacks and doing more useful things. Let's bring these units up too. So if we go for this research, +1 attack for our archer line and for our longboats, we should already be getting the additional gold for attacking their villages, so that's going to help us quite a bit. As they are really starting to send a lot at us now. Okay, I'm going to move these up. This is clearly the more dangerous place to attack. We'll send these for this, and there's a castle just there. Didn't spot that previously. We're going to take defense first. In fact, we can afford quite a lot of this stuff. Make sure we don't let these guys reach the treb, as our rams are moving up. These guys are a little bit too close. 1,000 gold in tribute. I'm not sure exactly what that's for. I guess taking out the monastery, but we should get more gold from these two as well, as they do actually have a few more defenders here than I expected. But that's not going to work out. Unsurprisingly, doesn't. Just a little bit too spread out. Although we do have quite a lot of population space, and we do now have quite a lot of gold we can afford to spend. Castle should handle most of these units. Don't mind if we lose a couple of trebs. They might actually survive. Just don't want to go too close to that castle. We can see how much damage it does to the berserk as he does go down. Okay, so architecture is useful to us. Siege engineers is probably more useful to us. Also costs resources we have plenty of, and I'm a little bit surprised we have no idle villagers right now. I'm gonna go for a couple more farms. And we might even need a mill. Okay, all these lumberjacks are going to also move on to mining. And this location is still fine. This location is mostly holding out too. A couple of ships there causing us some problems. Let's bring our archers across to help deal with those. This thing stays focused on this. Trebuchet takes down the guard tower. That's definitely the right thing to do. Ship situation. So we're harassing some ships but not achieving too much otherwise. We can actually bring these ships up through here. I think we can afford to bring a few of them. They will help support. Do we need more villagers and resources? Perhaps not. But we should go for these two. We don't really need extra lumber production either, but then again, we are going to move more of these lumberjacks onto farming. Not the greatest of farm locations, but whatever, it's fine. All of these can move on to more available locations, and where are we being attacked by monks? We're starting to run out of steam in that particular location. I'm just going to move a few more arbalesters in that direction, and also need to support with these, I suspect, as the ships are making a difference in this direction. Both trebuchets do survive for now. I think we can pack them up. And we have 8,000 gold. I was not even paying attention. That must have come from taking down that wonder, but that's a crazy amount of gold. And we can pretty much afford crazy amounts of siege now. Onagers, perhaps? I think scorpions would work quite well against what we're currently fighting. Maybe some scorpions would be good, and I think we do want a couple of these villagers to support with a push in this direction. We can see there's a castle just up there. Okay, we're going to start off with a siege workshop though. We're going to bring up some of this, as food is potentially the more problematic resource now, but our units here are still holding out. We want to focus down that castle, I think. Not sure what our fishing ships are doing over here. That seems to be either a mistake or a slightly desperate food situation. Are they working? Now we've got some arbalesters here too. They've been there for quite a while, I'm guessing. Same with the berserkers. Let's bring all of those up, as we do have a pretty good mass now. Should we drop a castle? I think we can. Then we don't have to micromanage that quite so much. There's a trade workshop just there for even more gold, but that's not really a priority. How are we doing otherwise? We've got a couple of packed trebs here we can bring up. I'm not sure what the villager was doing up there. Okay, we're going to go for the elite skirmisher upgrade because it's now extremely affordable. Murder holes is good, treadmill cranes pretty useful. Won't need too much of the rest of this stuff. I guess heated shot could help us defend our boats, but they're not really being attacked at this point. I think this is too inefficient to continue. And how's this looking? So 8,700 gold, another castle does go down. Start producing some scorpions. So wood situation's starting to look a little bit worse, but we have such a surplus that it's not really worth worrying about. Villagers situation, we've still got 2 villagers working on this. I think we want to bring up a few more berserks. Castle does go up, that's going to help in this particular location quite a lot. And to be honest, we probably don't need to really bother with the arbalesters. The heavy scorpions should be a bit more population efficient. They're sending monks towards our castle, they're going to go down really easy. Don't think we need to go for cavalry upgrades. And the blacksmith, don't think we really need much of those at all. Ah, we do get converted there. Need our castle to prioritize the monks. I am going to go for the siege ram research. I think the food situation should keep improving. You could do with 1 villager on this stuff. I'm going to actually send this one all the way back, as the villagers over there are keeping pretty busy. Let's take these guys, put them on aggressive stance, and I think these 2 aren't really achieving too much. Let's go towards this. These should go for the dock because those war galleys are actually presenting some problems. We could go for onagers. Those would work pretty well. They'd be more friendly fire, but we've got enough resources coming in to keep pushing. And if we just go all out for this, I reckon we can take it pretty quick. Another castle just up there. Let's go for that. Arbalest is extremely affordable for us. Mostly cost gold. We do need gold to win the map, but there should be no shortage of targets, especially when we turn our attention to England. Is this a safe location to move into? Should get a bit of extra gold for killing this guy. We'll keep going. We can see we're starting to really overwhelm them in this direction. Siege rams start to move in. Starting to be attacked by Northern Ireland now too, I see. So they've got a watchtower just there, which we could take down. That wouldn't be too bad to do. I think that's fine. We're gonna hit the population limit at some point. Let's just go for this, and let's actually go back to this because there's a few more upgrades we could go for. 15% faster movement. I think that also does apply to, well, elite longbow is very affordable. Let's do that. But I think the faster movement does apply to our fishing ships too. It's worth bearing in mind. Let's go for a mill. I'm not going to bother with boars or anything like that at this stage of the game. So yeah, we pretty much wiped this out. We should try to focus down these types of things the most. Towers can actually damage us. Wouldn't worry too much about the stables. And that's pretty much all dealt with. So yeah, pretty soon we should have the production healthy enough that... how many did we lose? Not too many actually. Production should be healthy enough soon that we can pretty consistently hit the 200 pop limit, as we're still getting some harassment from ships over there, but that's fine. You three are going to come back and stop being hopelessly inefficient. Okay, so I think we can probably soon turn our attention to... oh crap, that's a fortress. We can turn our attention to this stuff pretty soon, and in fact I might send the Trebs in that direction right now. Still being bothered by some monks, but not too worried about that. Okay, I'm going to move these out in this direction. Where are those monks? Not sure where they're actually coming from. I think we go for a few more barracks upgrades. I don't want to have to rely too much on berserkers, which in turn requires relying on castles. Constantly building castles. Although that would be fine to do. Just open up some ways through. Continue attacking. So Onja upgrade costs food and gold. We got plenty of that stuff. Let's just go for it just in case we decide to build some of those later. These things aren't too important, but they're also relatively cheap, so let's just go for them. Upgrade to cavalry shouldn't really be necessary. Town patrol, I think that could be pretty useful to us. We have so many resources, it shouldn't be anything to worry about. And make sure these guys focus on this. For some reason they don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Let's move these up. We'll find other targets. And I don't think there's really anything in Ireland that can stand up to us at this point. Fortress does go down. Still got a couple of idle units around, and as we approach that 200 pop limit we should start to involve those a bit more. These guys are still stuck on light cav. Not going to be enough to stop us. I'm assuming there's going to be a castle in here somewhere. Let's see how it goes. Actually, no, not really. Should go down extremely quickly. And we'll bring these up to attack these. These should now be safe to move up to. Continuing to be attacked by Wessex ships. That's actually quite frustrating. Oh crap, they've actually got a mangonel just there. That actually could cause us some problems. Might be a reason to have a couple of cavalry around. They're extremely good against scorpions, rams, and archers. Berserk should still be okay against them though. I feel like this is leading to a castle of some kind. This feels too carefully designed to be safe to attack. But no, still not really anything that can stand up to us. These ships are have almost gone as far as they can. Okay, do we want a stable? I'm a little bit worried about the prospect of taking on onagers and mangonels. We need more than one villager on that too, so I think it's time for some of these to give this up. Move up and help out. And let's just do a little bit of scouting with these. So there are still some southern Irish kingdoms we could attack, but we're so close to the pop limit, I don't think there's much of a point now. Actually produce a couple of villages. Shouldn't really need anyone mining gold, but it does help us with one of our map objectives. Pretty much fully upgraded in everything at this point, although you can still go for a couple more upgrades to these. A militia line costs less food, let's do that. Let's bring all of our units up in this direction. Yeah, we'll attack to the east later. For now, let's just focus on Northern Ireland, as this is the kind of thing we don't want to see, but we do take it down before it does anything to us. Okay, I'm going to send these back to defend our shoreline, which is being attacked. That doesn't look good. This is... I shouldn't even be encouraging that thing to attack me. I'm going to take so many losses. Actually none, but still need to be a bit careful. Need to spread these out a bit, perhaps. These can go for this, and let's bring the berserks up too. Those are always helpful, especially next to mangonels as they're produced. And yeah, this force is far stronger than anything we're going to find in Ireland now. The real tough opponents are going to be across the sea. Got a couple of free units here, I guess we'll send across. If they get killed, that's fine. We're just going to use them as the world's least efficient scouts. And I think that looks like a pretty beatable opponent. The Scorpions should be able to take on the ships. I don't really think the Berserks want to get involved in that. Neither the Arbalesters. As yet, we are right against that pop limit. And now we can justify going for two-man saw. Okay, let's keep the Berserks back. Let's try to keep the towers focused on our rams. Trebuchets are all up. Most of their ships do go down. And towers also going down pretty quick. Should be safe to bring these in now. We do see a castle just there. Let's focus on that. Should probably think about capturing some relics too. It's a little bit of a tedious thing to do, but we should also be safe to have multiple monasteries. Costs us a little bit more wood, but it doesn't really matter. This one perhaps not the best choice because it is pretty close to the coast. We go for a slightly safer location. And we are pretty close to finishing Ireland off. Or at least Northern Ireland. Oh no, we're not. There's way more. This map is so huge. That's just a tiny little outpost. I do forget sometimes. Alright, we're gonna build one monk if we can. What is going to speed them up? That's actually quite important. Yeah, we'll go for further. And not too... Actually, heresy would be good, and it's very affordable. Let's do that. Alright, you go for this. The rest of you start coming across. It's time to start attacking other parts of Ireland. There's a little bit more to the south here. I think the Berserkers can handle that. Rams are going to be too slow. Okay, what can we do with our population? I don't want to start deleting villages. I don't think that's necessarily wise. We could rely on longships instead because population efficiency becomes important now. We don't want too many weak units. Look at all these scorpions. Okay, not much here to stop us by the looks of it. In fact, that dock's already been damaged. Not sure when we did that. Okay, we'll leave them to it. Don't think we even need all these. Another castle, perhaps, as we move on to this next one. I think that's fine. We have to assume... Do we build it there? Not even sure. Yeah, I think a few cavalry would actually be useful just to scout the way ahead. Our units are pretty slow. So yeah, this is not particularly important land to assert our claim on, but does help us push. So it's more of an aggressive castle. Let's go for it. And we'll move these up to attack towers. And that'll be our next victim. How's this looking? All done. 17,000 gold. We need 50,000 in total to secure that objective. We need to kill this guy off before he does anything to us. He will definitely try. Rams do move in pretty unresisted. If the towers attack our berserks, we might lose a couple of them, but that's okay. Let's bring this guy back with the relic. These guys are all done too. Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can really do about this. I think we can pack these up, move them to somewhere a bit more important. Let's take down the sea tower. Bring these in to take on the ships. Let's just go scout with these. I feel like we could get more use out of the longboats, but they are still doing some useful defending. This is a map where you can very much get away with just attacking coastlines with huge hordes of longboats, and that's probably a quicker way to play the map. But it's then a bit annoying when you have to take things on the slightly more inland. See, there's a castle to the north there. We should probably push towards that. As the Northern Irish are desperately sending in a few more units, but it's all pretty castle age, pretty weak, nothing to worry about. I think we could justify a couple more trebs. We're going to send these straight for the castle. Let's assume that by the time they get there it's going to be pretty safe to go for. Bring these up too. We could start going for guard towers, since we don't really need the unit production. They do help us defend, they help us spread out our defense. Spread these out in case of mangonels. Go defensive for now. These guys focus on taking down that castle. And at this point, scorpions can be probably better used elsewhere. At least most of them. What are we going to do with these? Yeah, we can go super aggressive, as long as we don't mind losing a few units, but they can be easily replaced. And we've switched to the point from having a crazy amount of wood, we now have a crazy amount of everything else. I wonder if it'd be faster just to rely on berserks, not to bother with the scorpions and things. So speed is a bit of an issue. Trebs are definitely worth having. But I think berserks, arbalestas probably get the job done on their own. A few trebs to support. Just gonna build this, something to do. Gambeson's militia line received +1 pierce armor. It's so cheap it would be stupid not to, and we should have got Arson a long time ago. Champion is kind of expensive considering how few we have, but also we can easily afford it. So our rams finally do arrive. Possibly too late to really make much difference. In fact, I'm going to send them the other way. So yeah, they just have nothing for that. 20,000 gold. Let's move these up to deal with the ships. Where's that monk? Take our second relic. Do we put these on wood? We could conceivably run out of stone, but there's not really too many options for that. And if we really had to, we could just build a marketplace. There's a treb there doing nothing. Let's bring that along. Let's go for that. Alright, all these stragglers can come along and help out in this direction. Sure, we have stragglers elsewhere too. Yeah, we've got this one single champion here. Yeah, it's a shame we can't go beyond 200 pop. This monk should go down to the tower, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, you are not the right types of units for that type of problem, and we need to focus on this castle that is by far the biggest threat to us right now. Where are the trebs? Ah, they've moved up to attack from this direction. It's not quite ideal, but never mind. Did think they might do that. Has that tower already gone down? Ooh, this looks bad. It's got the wrong types of units here for this. Just gets the one kill though. Okay, you guys focus on this. Rest of you support. Prevent them being killed off by the infantry units, which might be pretty difficult to do. Castle does go down. Is all of this stuff destroyed? I guess you can't see it because it's not technically revealed by us. That might be the reason. It was revealed at the start of the scenario rather than through exploration. I might be wrong. No, I am wrong. It's been destroyed by, I guess, Wessex, perhaps? I mean, we're gonna have to swap focus to military pretty soon. We could also have a serious think about crossing. Our first opponent does go down, the Northern Irish actually down before the Southern Irish, but the Southern Irish, not really a threat. Do have the castle, I think. No castle there, but there is a fortress just there. It's not too far from us. I'm gonna send these to scout, they will get killed, but that's fine. Just double check this is all cleared out. Don't need to be attacking walls. Yeah, nothing else to really destroy in that direction. Okay, bring all this along with us. Explore as much of this as we can. Bring these down. Pretty close to death, actually. We should have some villages closer to this. So they do actually have something to the west here by the looks of it. Hopefully something we can kill with just 2 rams, but a single militia could render this unsuccessful. No units there to support. I'm not sure why they can't mine this. They should be able to. So the lumber camp just there we could perhaps go for. We must have some stragglers. Just need to find them and deploy them. Transport ships can move up in this direction. Okay, we can see the Britons, Scots and Welsh having seen us attacking their fishing ships. Gonna start moving towards us to attack us pretty soon. There's nothing else to really research. Anything other than villages? Nope. Okay, so the stragglers will be elsewhere. Alright, you continue to explore this, you get down to destroy this. You guys come across. Keep all of these busy. We can see there is an extra relic available just there. Actually, we should be able to go for this fortress. It's going to be pretty tough for them to reach us. You guys all go for... Well, there is a monk just there to look out for, but I'm going to kill this first. This guy must be done by now. Let's bring him across. A couple of monks there don't even bother trying to convert us. To be fair, they probably don't have the tech, but... feels somehow appropriate that they don't even bother to try to preserve themselves. There is a knight just here which could cause us some problems, but goes probably straight past us, and all of these units are best taken around to the other side. We can see what this knight has in mind. Let's kill that off. He's going to try and go for our trebs. And now we probably start pushing from this direction again. There we are up against the pop cap. Don't really want to delete villages, but it is potentially approaching that time. Or even has been there for a while. Okay, you grab this, and this time we'll go back to this monastery. I think it should be safe to do that. Fortress, I guess is out of range of this. I'm not sure why they unpacked if that was the case. A few more rams wouldn't be too bad. These units should go down to massed arbalestas. Yeah, this is an easier opponent. So the tougher opponents will be coming up later, of course, so I'm thinking Wessex, Mercia. Have to defeat 5 enemies in total. East Anglia would presumably be the last and slightly easier than the others. Taking on the Brits, Scots and Welsh is a bit time consuming. I don't think we bother. I think we just go for a strong push against Mercia and Wessex. Let's go check this out. Okay, let's free our berserks from being slowed down by going with the rest of those units. No sign of a castle here. Probably going to lose a unit to conversion, which we do, but that's fine. We do have heresy, so we just lose it instead of having to fight it on the opponent's side. Let's bring this thing down. And I'm thinking Southern Irish kingdoms will resign pretty soon. Let's bring these up. So we will want to send some villagers with our transport ship for sure. Annoyingly, they are sending builders across. I'm not sure exactly where these are coming from. There's still something going on to the west here that we've obviously not dealt with. Don't really have the patience to send units there. Yeah, there's something to the west just there. Don't even have stragglers around to send. Although we do have a lot of extra pop space now. It's going for a lumber camp by the look of it. Just send this weak champion to take that out. So what else have they got left? I think this is possibly the very last outpost of the Southern Irish kingdoms. Perhaps when that dock goes down, they'll be finished. Yes, they do. They do resign. It's our second opponent defeated. Okay, let's bring these down. And we're going to start off with a monastery. So, safest location to land. That is Mercia, and they have a score of 89,000, so I'm a little bit intimidated by that. Might be safer just to go all the way down south, land in Cornwall. But we do need to take Mercia on. They are one of the ones we are probably intending to defeat altogether. So these should fit 20 units each. I've got the strongest escort. But we'll see what we can do. Extra transport ship might make sense too. This is slightly annoying. I think we just go for a few more. Like that. Okay, how safe is the passage across? So we can sail straight towards blue if we want to. That's probably going to involve a castle, I'm guessing. Yeah, I can actually see the bottom of it right there. So we don't want to risk that. We want to go, if anything, slightly to the north of that. Just see if it's all clear. If we can land 40 units here, we should be able to establish a foothold. Even without villagers, as... yeah, that does seem Does seem all fine. So let's have a look. Loads of space on there. Everybody get in. Okay, that'll have to do. Let's go land. Couple of docks. Okay, we did expect to continue being attacked down there, that's fine. No sign of resistance here, let's just drop. And a castle on the English island. A castle in Great Britain would be a nice thing to have. Also some kind of ram here would be better than what we have, but never mind. We'll bring these back. Hopefully those forces should at least be able to take a few hits, or be able to resist the first couple of counter-offensives. Yeah, there is that castle just there we have to be a bit careful of. We don't really have the right types of units to really go for that yet. Even that one ram's not going to do the job. We need our trebuchets, wherever those are. Completely lost track of them. Anyway, everybody get in the ship. Let's move all of this across. I guess all of these units together could take on a castle. Ah, this is so annoying to do. Again, whichever ones have space. How's this looking? A couple of guard towers there, getting some free kills on our units. That'll have to do for now. Let's go land. No, I'm producing way too many of these. But we'll use this one at least to get the villagers across. Are there any other relics to capture? Maybe not. I could take the monk, but I think I'll just delete him. Oh, we can come back for him. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Completely empty transport ship here. Alright, so yeah, just a very weak siege ram, which is not really going to get the job done. What we really need is our villagers, we need a castle, and we need to probably forget whatever units are left on Ireland. I might even delete a few villages, but we'll wait till we're up against the pop cap first. So spies is almost affordable if we spend all of our gold, but I don't think we should. I'm sure there are more units around here. Yeah, look, we've got some really forgotten stragglers up here. Guess we do have the transport ship for these. This guy. A little bit tedious, but still worth picking all of this up. 200 units and they all count. Who else have we got? A couple up here. We seem to be successfully pillaging something. Has this actually worked? It actually has, okay. I am perhaps overly fearful of castles. That one was quite easy to take down. This looks like quite a serious place to attack into. Yeah, we need some cav. We just do. Just for the mobility. It's not what our civilization specializes in, but would help. Help us make our choices. Alright, these move up. Okay, what else do we want? We want a siege workshop. I think we also want a monastery somewhere relatively safe. I only now realize I must have a mod on which is turning my champions into legionaries. I'm not sure which one that is. I need to turn that off. I kind of half registered that I had legionaries on the map, but I just didn't really think to comment on it. Now I realize that's not supposed to be the case. Okay, so that is Britain's base. Not that useful to take down, but I don't want to build the castle somewhere irrelevant. This is all pretty weakly defended. I will actually build a town centre, just so we can keep producing villages in this part of the map. Because those 3 will get killed at some point. And yeah, we'll lose a few more units there, but that's fine. Okay, so I think because we have so many resources, even though our cavaliers aren't great, we're still fine to go for cavaliers. Alright, these come back. And let's not gather there because that's an annoying spot. Yeah, so Mercia's strongest player on the map, but they won't actually come to attack you unless you go near the specific garrisons they have. Got a few rams to deploy here. Okay, so main thing I want to do with the cavaliers is just expand our vision and figure out where to drop that castle. Longboats can't help us too much here. I think we do want to attack north first. Strong enough at this point to take on the best things we can find, as this doesn't seem too tough yet. Might not be such a big location. It could be though. It's kind of... I think it's a bit too far south to be Manchester. But yeah, I think it's time to drop a castle. Bring these up to defend. Yeah, the rams have been really useful to us, so we'll keep producing those. And cavaliers might even be the most population efficient unit we can use, as I guess we should probably focus on that castle. They are the Britons, so we got longbowmen to deal with now too, cavaliers as well, so they're slightly tougher in theory than our previous opponents. The berserks do get bonus damage against cavalry, which I think was only introduced in Definitive Edition. I don't think that was a thing in HD Edition. But yeah, these units can't deal with our unit composition as, wow, okay, so there's a cathedral right there and a castle, so this is actually a pretty good choice of target. And we do want our trebuchets, I think, as soon as we can. Wow, this is pretty heavily defended. City wall there, it looks like a tower, but it's not. The real threat is the castle. Okay, let's drop a... Could go for another castle, but bring in a few berserkers for now, and another siege workshop will be fine. We have so many resources. Just need to get back towards the pop limit. Should be fine to produce a lot of cavaliers. $6,000 golden tribute as the cathedral does go down, I think. Must have had almost no hit points, or just was very vulnerable to the splash damage from our siege rams. Okay, let's take a huge number of trebuchets because those are going to be extremely useful, and in terms of unit composition, we could worry about population efficiency, or we could worry about what we do best. The berserkers are good all-rounder units. They're not too expensive. Well, they're pretty expensive in food, but food is not the resource we need to win the map, and we do have 50,000 food now, so it's almost completely irrelevant. We are pretty close, I think, to the point where we start deleting villages, but only once we get back up to that 200 population limit, and the key thing for now is just establishing ourselves on this part of the map. So let's get everyone on this ship. Not sure what we can do with these units. Let's go for this actually. Yeah, not sure what we can do with the long ships. Let's go for the dock for sure. Get a bit of extra gold from pillaging all of this. They do actually have trebuchets of their own. So a much more impressive opponent. They've got fire ships too, going for our rams, which are going to be awkward to deal with. Let's try and attack those with these. Guess a bit more Arbalesta production could at least speed this up a little bit. Castle will go down pretty soon. And yeah, this is one of their stronger towns for sure. We should maybe kill this off with our rams since the trebs don't seem to be doing a great job. Switch all of these to aggressive stance. Bring the cavaliers down. Treb can go for this. These will go explore. Not seeing anything here that worries me too much. The fire ships are slightly annoying for our rams. Just spread our trebuchets around. What else do we want? So they do have a lot of cavaliers, which means pikemen could be useful, but our own cavaliers would still probably do a better job. I'm going to go for a few more stables. Make sure this thing is constantly busy, which it already has plenty to do. We've got so many trebuchets. Got their own trebuchet just there to worry about. We could probably take on Wessex at the same time. Okay, let's really step up the production now. Do we need an extra castle? So this should all be pretty manageable. Let's go into their wood line. So an extra castle towards Wessex to the south should work pretty well. We can even go for a couple of trebuchets or something. Probably not the best location, but it's relatively safe. Maybe try and scout this out a bit. Yeah, they're attacking us mostly from the south now, so I think we've dealt with everything here. Alright, let's move down. Yeah, we're going to shift our attention to the south. I think we probably could take on Northumbria, but it's quite some distance away. And we need to take out 5 of our opponents as one of our goals, which means East Anglia is almost certainly the better choice. Much easier to kill off. Or we could just accumulate 50,000 gold. Yeah, that's actually enough to win the map on its own. Don't need to do multiple of those things. Longboats would be useful here. We could even probably trade. Not averse to winning the map. in any way that makes sense. But it's kind of lame. I don't think I'll do that. Because technically, if that is your approach to this map, you could just sit in Ireland and never cross to England at all. So yeah, I don't think we're going to do it. I could do it. I could sell a lot of wood. Try and get towards all of that gold, but I just think that's a pretty lame way to win the map. They must have castles. Got too many transport ships here anyway. Glastonbury Cathedral. Presumably pre-music festival. Presumably. Definitely. Michael Eavis is still alive at the time of recording. Don't think he was alive in this time. Yeah, I think it's pretty difficult to win this through any objective other than the 50,000 gold objective. Because it's not hard to gather that gold at all. Okay, time to go for another castle. I think we're seeing quite a few units popping up around here. Glastonbury Cathedral does go down. Let's see how much gold that gets us. I'm guessing quite a lot. Let's have a look. Or none. 6,000 gold, yeah, so we're pretty close to the 50,000 gold now. Take down some of this stuff too, and send these across. 3 units, we've got a few. Ah, actually losing our castle slowly. You go scout the coast. Castle just there we can go for. Okay, put our cavaliers to better use. Put down a few more berserks, and we only have enough for one more castle, but that should still be fine. Ooh, see the sneaky treb. Make sure we wipe that out quickly. Castle does go down really quick. Don't really need to gather the relics. There's no way that's going to be the objective that wins us the game. In fact, we'd need to go out of our way to sell gold now, get rid of gold, to prevent that being how we win this map. It's looking unlikely we get to finish off Wessex, but we have at least dropped them into 3rd place. And we've done some damage to Mercia too, as they are unfortunately harassing us up there. Probably do have to deal with that using these, I guess. Yeah, thing is, we don't really have enough to push in this direction, so if they're going to send the occasional treb through, that's a little bit annoying. We are very close now to the 50,000 gold mark, which will mark the end of the map. Treb there tries to sneak through, but it's going to be easy target for us. What else could we attack? So there's a little bit more to the south there. That's going to be pretty easy to take down. Let's go for it. This is the keep we sailed past earlier, so potentially a nice way to end the map. And we don't need to delete any villages. We've still got plenty of population space. Just produce a few extra units. Yep, so they've still got watchtowers, even though they do have a pretty high score. They're obviously constrained in tech. I'm gonna send this one straight for the keep. They've got a treb there too, perhaps I should deal with that. going straight for us, and in fact I put that Treb in range, that's gonna die. I overstretched myself slightly. They do have a couple of Huskars there taking us on. Let's send some better defenders across. These will hunt down villagers. More Wessex to the east. That's pretty much, well, it's not all they have. There's still all of this too. Yeah, I imagine it's very difficult to win this map unless you deliberately try to stay away from 50,000 gold. That is so achievable. It's really difficult to spend all that gold, even if you want to. Actually pretty close to this. Could justify going for our final castle there. Of course, if we need to, we can buy stone. But, oh, it's a fire tower. So that would have been pretty tough to take on. Definitely do want that to go down. But we don't need most of these to do it. Mercia's still giving us no trouble up there. Plenty of pop space. Go for a bit of mass production. So in terms of sources of gold, potentially not too much there for us to gather. It's been a very long time since I last produced a scorpion, but we've still got a few stragglers left alive. A few trebs there for us to deal with. Probably focus on those. As spending all of this gold has moved us slightly further from our goal, but that's okay. Don't mind just spending the time destroying more buildings. Huskar's no match for Berserkers or Cavaliers. Wrong type of unit to bring to this fight. There is a marketplace just there which will give us a bit more gold. I think actually buying the Cavaliers is slowing us down. Slowing down our gold acquisition too much. Becomes inefficient to expand. Unless you're super efficient with your units, but there's no real need to do that in this map. What can our monk pick up? I guess we'll send these west to attack, but the rest of these units need to move towards the east, which is where all of our remaining opponents are. There is the base on Cornwall there, but it's not really that important to attack. I guess we'll go for this. Yeah, the Berserks are not too expensive in terms of gold. I think they are just objectively the better choice for winning this map quicker. Obviously we could win the map through more cheesy means at time of our choice, but again, we're not going to do that. So much food we could sell. We are back against the pop limit. This big group of cavaliers, anything short of a castle should be quite manageable. What else have we got? So, there's the Wessex town just there. Let's bring these across. Not seeing any sign of a castle. Just a few watchtowers. That should be fine. Although it might just expand all the way to the east and then we've got that castle over there to take down. As Mercia is back trying to cause us some problems. But we've got some good units for that. Ah, we do see a castle. Played enough CBA to know you don't need siege units to break through walls. Or gates even. Ignore the docks, doesn't really matter too much. This weakened Treb can get the job done. As they're throwing everything at us now. But our units should be far superior. Castle does go down. More Trebs coming from the east, but that's fine. But our Berserk's here to deal with that. This stuff is not worth worrying about, although I think they might have maybe taken out the last of our longships there. Thought they'd be running out of steam over here, but perhaps not. Still does occasionally get the small lag spike that I remember from HD Edition, but it used to be a lot worse. Not sure exactly what causes it. 1,000 gold from this. I think at this point we resist recruiting gold units and prepare for the map to end. Champions are fine because they cost very little gold. Oh, what are these doing? Oh, that's so annoying. Obviously there's a gate there, but it's not such a fun thing to micromanage. I'd rather just go straight for the castle if I can. Might finally be time for a few onagers. They're going to really help us against these ships. You just destroy this. You two come across. Ah, this should be the ideal final target. Definitely get us over the 50,000 mark. And we've got so many champions here that nothing else can really stop us. As they do come across with actually quite a large Mercia navy, but once this goes down, expecting about 60,000 as tribute, we only need 400. And the map should just end there and then, but as you can see, we've only really taken down about half the map. There's so much further you could expand if you want to. You'd have to deliberately, I think, get rid of some gold or play in a way that's not super efficient in terms of gold, but that is York. Let's have a quick look at the statistics and also listen to the outro.
The Vikings watered the ground with the blood of their enemies, seizing vast amounts of plunder and fertile land. The stench of smoke and death filled the air as hapless victims foolishly turned to their altars instead of their swords. The haughty Anglo-Saxons met their match at the hands of ruthless Viking warriors, eager to earn their place at Odin's table. True to their word, Ragnar's sons carved the blood eagle into the back of the cowardly Isla as a warning to any who might think of opposing them. Ragnar's sons settled the land that they had conquered, eventually establishing a state known as the Danelaw. For the next 2 centuries, Dane and Saxon would live as neighbors, sometimes at war, sometimes in peace, until the Saxon victory over the Norse at Stamford Bridge in 1066 foiled the last Viking invasion of England.
Alright, that was York, and for more Age of Empires 2 campaign scenarios and historical battles, do check the players link in the description. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.